Once the eyeball was penetrated with the ink, it felt like he grabbed 10 shards of glass and rubbed it in my eye. If your eyeball procedure is done correctly, you're not supposed to go blind at all. I was blind for 3 weeks. That was pretty brutal.
Hey, Mum.
Oh, hey, darling. I've come over. Oh, thanks, Tom. I've come over to have a look at some photos.
Only the one tattoo there.
I know.
Script. 18 years old.
What did I say? No more.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
If I was to put a number on how many tattoos that I have, I'd probably have to say about 200 tattoos. I've sat through one major cosmetic procedure, which was a breast augmentation, and then 4 minor cosmetic surgeries. My eyebrows tattooing, my lip tattooing, my cheek fillers and my lip fillers.
I think you become more confident. I've noticed that over the years.
Yeah, I finally found who I was.
It doesn't change who you are, though.
When I worked at Sin City.
So what does your mum think about
all of this?
Yes.
What does my mum think about all of this? From the start, she didn't like it. She grew more to the idea of when I turned 18 that I could get tattooed, but until then, I'm living under her roof, and that wasn't respectful. You know, there have been things like facial tattoos and, you know, my eyeball tattoos and things that were a bit more controversial. Look, white eyes. That's just weird.
It's beautiful.
No, it's weird.
What do I think about my daughter's blue tattooed eyes? Where do I start? I cried. I said a few choice words, as anyone would do. What the hell are you thinking of? Why would you do that to yourself?
I can't even begin to describe to you what the feeling was like. The best thing I can give you is once the eyeball was penetrated with the ink, it felt like he grabbed 10 shards of glass and rubbed it in my eye. That happened 4 times per eye. That was pretty brutal. Unfortunately, my artist went too deep into my eyeball. If your eyeball procedure is done correctly, you're not supposed to go blind at all. I was blind for 3 weeks. Yes.
Why would you do that to yourself, knowing that there is I suppose, a danger to it? As we know as a parent, some kids will just do what they want to do, regardless of what we say. But I brought her into the world with the best skills that I could give, the best that I could give her. It's just for me to be there and go along the journey with her and prop her up and love her. So how do you think you're going to feel when you get older?
Oh, I'm going to be
And you have children, how are you going to be when you sit here?
You know what?
And you're the mum.
I'm going to be an open colouring book. All my pieces are grey wash, so they can sit there for hours and colour me in.
It's a nice way to look at it.
Yep. At 15 years old, I got diagnosed with severe clinical depression.
She never saw herself as being beautiful. She didn't see herself through my eyes. A lot of people go through things in life, but for me, it's about coming out the other side and being able to be your true self.
At 16 years old, I got my first tattoo. The feeling that I felt with that tattoo was almost like a negative energy release.
I've supported her because I could actually see the transition, the growth, and how it's made her come to who she is today. I think over time I've learned to actually understand that it doesn't change you, it's the society's perception on it. And I think that's, we're brought up to believe that you can't be doing this to yourself, but I think with the way it's changed... You can't be doing this to yourself
and get a good job.
No.
You can.
I can't expect you to live your life through me or how I want to live my life, because it'll never make you who you are.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
So don't get me emotional. It's all good. I believe that, though, really.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's all right.
Appreciate it.
I know. I love you.
Love you too. I'm gonna say right now that I chose to look this way, and everyone has their own opinions. You know, everyone knows what beauty is in their own eyes. You know, you see cultures stretching their ears and stretching their necks, their lips. It's all different ideas of what beauty is. And that's okay. That's fine, because we're only human. But I would like to see in the future a bit more open-mindedness, like when it comes to body modification and tattooing. Tattooing is becoming more accepted in the community and within the workplace, but body modification has a long way to go.
Do I always understand what she's doing? No. But the question is, am I proud of her? Yeah, I am proud of her.
I don't plan on getting any more body modifications that are extreme in that manner, so no more tongue splitting, no more eyeball tattooing, but I will be getting a procedure called a Brazilian butt lift. In terms of tattooing, I'll just be getting completely tattooed, like covered. My goal is to be completely covered by the time I'm 25. I'm 25 next March, so I'm on track. I'm doing pretty well so far.
Getting down to 18 inches was pretty smooth and easy. Like it's not about the aesthetics anymore, it's about the challenge. I am not concerned that I'm doing anything to damage my organs. I'm just curious like how small I can go. I like to push myself. You know, the main thing is the middle. Like I don't care if there's a gap at the top and bottom a little bit.
We're getting there.
In fact, I prefer a little bit of a gap at the top.
There's no gap at the top.
Yeah, I might loosen it back up at the top.
Okay.
So that's where my lungs are. My name is Sarah, and I want to match the world's smallest waist record, or maybe beat it. I've been corseting since 2012. Now I'm at 16 inches. I had to quit for a while when I got pregnant with my daughter. So I started up again after she was born, late 2014, and I've been consistently wearing a corset since then. I think I was hooked on corsets right away as soon as I tried one on for the first time. I was immediately delighted with the hourglass shape that it gave me. Hold still. I am not concerned that I'm doing anything to damage my organs because I just don't think there's any evidence that that can happen. The current living record holder, she is in her mid-80s now and apparently healthy and active. I'm not concerned. This was my very first corset. It's 24 inches, and I think I lucked out. It's actually a pretty good quality. At the time, my natural waist was fluctuating around 27 to 28 inches. Early on in the process, it's a lot of soft tissue just being moved out of the way, just like fat and skin and muscle. And then you go closer and closer, and you're actually having to move floating ribs in, and it's a little trickier because it's hard to breathe. It's very uncomfortable. I started doing a little modeling. I'd never seen myself as being particularly sexy or being the kind of person who would pose for a pinup shot. So it was a way of kind of trying out a different persona. And I've enjoyed that. It's been kind of a funny, amusing midlife crisis. Once I started getting really interested in corsets, I started looking at a lot of historical examples. This one is based on a historical pattern. It is in a silk brocade. That's pretty special fabric. This one was made at 18 inches. So now I can get to 16, but not super comfortably. If I do it gradually throughout the day, I can stay at 16 inches for a couple of hours at a time, pretty comfortably, before I want to loosen it back up. So I'm able to be at 16, but I wouldn't say that I'm like at 16, like not full time. Once I'm really comfortable at 16, it just feels okay, it feels natural. And then I think I want to go for 15. In terms of like the restrictions, how tightly I lace changes depending on what I'm doing. It didn't change my lifestyle much until I started going under 18. Going as tight as I am now, I'm having to eat a little differently. I sleep in the corset, so I have to have a moderate dinner. I have to spread my calories out throughout the day, which I find a little tedious. Ron likes the look of a corset if it's not too extreme. I think he aesthetically prefers something in the range of 18 to 20 inches, and I've gone a little past that, and that's for me. It doesn't all have to be for him. When I first started, I was a little bit worried about the health aspect.
I wasn't into it at all, I guess, at the time, you know, before Sarah started with it. It's not like a must-have for me, I guess you'd say. But yeah, no, I think it looks really good. She's super into being a mom. You know, she really does a great job encouraging Kestrel to just find her own way and find her own voice with things.
A big chunk of my life is my family.
Mama made a rainbow for you, that's pretty cool.
Kestrel doesn't particularly take notice of the corset. She has noticed that she can punch me really hard and it doesn't hurt me. So that's fun. She thinks it's like a piece of armor. I think chances are she will have absolutely no interest in corseting whatsoever.
Well, when other people are judgmental, I get a little bit defensive. I mean, I think that's just natural when it's someone that you care about. It's usually so badly informed that it's basically, you're probably hurting your insides, and that's not really a medical opinion. But for the most part, I mean, these are just people on the internet. I hear a lot of people say things like it's unnatural for her to do this. To my mind, you know, shoes aren't natural, or you know, having a job where you sit down all day is unnatural, and it's demonstrably bad for you. Sitting down all day is worse for you than corseting.
What I see for my goals with corseting is in just the challenge and at least meeting the official world record. And if I can get there, maybe see if I can even surpass it. And once I've reached that, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'll stay interested in being corseted that extremely, at least moderately. It's just one part of my life. It's one part of the balance.
I'd consider myself different because I love Jesus and I look this way.
Her having her eyes tattooed, I was very upset about it. It was the one thing that upset me more than anything, probably.
I was not worried about damaging my eyes. My name is Michelle DiDonato. I'm 32 years old. I'm a tattoo artist and a mother of 3. I always say I have one tattoo because it's just like my whole body. Like I would just get lost trying to count them. My tits, I left bare. That's about it. I love all the funny ones. So my ass says eat, my knuckles say sandwich. I got Dwight Schrute. This is for my grandma. That's the year she was born, and a sewing machine. That was for my daughter, because she's sweet. How I got into modeling was at a tattoo convention. I met a photographer and he took my first shots. I loved it so much, I kept going. The common misconceptions about me is that I'm satanic. The hard part for me is how people treat me. I don't care if people give me dirty looks, but people say some really mean stuff on social media. The worst things I get in public are the old people. It bothers me. They will literally go like this, like, ugh. And I'm like, yo, it's not like I'm disgusting or something. Like, I just have tattoos.
That is dangerous. I'm not hugging you.
Nicole made them.
She always liked to be noticed as a child, so she would get dressed up. As she got older, it's better to be extremely something to be noticed.
She would come in and there'd be another one, and then there's another one, and next time she comes there's another one. And
If someone told me that Michelle was going to wind up with having so many tattoos, I would have enrolled her in an all-girls boarding school in kindergarten. Her having her eyes tattooed, I was very upset about it. It was the one thing that upset me more than anything, probably, because I love Michelle's eyes. But I still see Michelle's eyes, so I'm okay now with it.
I picked the color pink because it contrasted my eyes really well. I was not worried about damaging my eyes. I go through times of like craziness, and that was definitely one of those times. I have 3 kids. They're 12, 11, and 9. I know, like just by how they are with me, that they don't see my tattoos really. Like, it's not even a thing to them. My youngest, he is the most like me. When he was like really little, he said, "Mom, if you get more tattoos, I'll love you more."
It's the egg and cake. I like the one with mine on it.
You like your, do you like that one?
But they're gonna have like way more.
He tells me, right? Yeah. He says, "Mom, everyone's staring at you." Regrets. And that's something that I've had to live with a lot. I've learned to live with the regrets of tattoos. I'm so covered, I have to be okay with what I have on my body. I can't change it. For my future, all I want to do is see my kids get married and grow up and be happy. Like, that's all I want.
I would say the common misconception that people have towards me is that I'm a drug dealer or came from prison.
It makes me feel uncomfortable that people say this.
Mostly all this work is all by design, you know, it doesn't have to necessarily have a meaning to it, you know. If it's something that you like, just get it, you know, you don't gotta explain it. Just do you and be happy with it. My name is Keith Edwards. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. If I had to guess how many tattoos I had, I would probably say at least 600 or 700. And I'm probably at about 98%. I have spent a little over 10 grand. My favorite one is, this is my grandfather's name here, that's the favorite one out of everything. The most painful part of my body had to be my skull. It was ridiculous, like to a point to where I had to tap out, which I don't tap out, so, but that I had to do. And yeah, very excruciating. The eyeball tattoo was, I wouldn't say painful at all. The most uncomfortable thing was just holding the lids open, and it could have affected my vision, but on the bright side, it didn't. My first tattoo is the one right here. This is when I was 17. I grew up in a religious household, so my first tattoo was a tattoo of Jesus. Went home, my mom lost her mind over it. She said no more tattoos. I would say the common misconception that people have towards me is that they automatically assume I'm a drug dealer or came from prison or, you know, a rapper. I'm a baker and a father to 3 kids and a beautiful wife. I just pretty much took a chance in the baking, got into it, learned it, just made it one of my many passions. Being normal is a disease. I feel like people are conditioned and rubbed and polished in to believe a certain way and to live a normal life, which is get up, go to work, corporate life, get up, go to work, stuck in traffic every day. That's not the way to me.
I think these 2, and then give these like 4.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah, I got you.
Keith is always like super upbeat. It's nice, you can always be yourself around him and makes you feel comfortable. And nothing scary about him. He's just got a unique style.
That's that. Let those go for about 15 and put them on rotation. I have a 2-year-old, her name is Wednesday. I have a 3-year-old, his name is Gray.
Sit down. Sit down, Gray.
And my oldest is Dakota, who's 13. They're all good kids.
I wouldn't really see him any differently if he didn't have tattoos. I think we have a normal family.
My partner's fully supportive of the tattoos. At first, it kind of rubbed her off the wrong way a little bit. Look, I'm gonna do a flower, look at this. And I think as the time went by, she became adjusted to the fact that this is who I am as a person.
The way I feel about Keith's modifications, I don't have anything I dislike. You know, when he first kicked it off, trying to get to the facials, I was like, hey, no, don't do that. My main concern was just making sure he got stuff that actually fit his look.
I would say the hardest part about looking different with tattoos is that you are definitely judged. It happens pretty much everywhere, surprisingly. My tattoos are the topic of discussion every conversation I come across, and I can feel the prejudice. I can feel like just the tension, as in, you know, for example, walking into a restaurant and everybody's staring, and they have questions, but they don't want to, you know, come forward with them. I deal with judgment online almost every day, as if I do in public every day.
I don't think I'll ever follow in his footsteps and get tattoos. It makes me feel uncomfortable that people stare at us.
I feel people think that being heavily tattooed affects your ability to be able to provide for your family and being a father or, you know, a parent. And I highly disagree. He's a phenomenal dad. I'm proud of Keith in many ways. I think he started off our relationship trying to find himself. He's like developed and is comfortable in his skin. He is just a really all-around great person.
The message I have for people who judge me is, you get to know me before you judge. I'm a nice guy, so just come to me. I'll be more than happy to educate you on a sense of self. I live with no regrets. Not at the present moment, no regrets. And if I could do it again, I would.
Showing off over here.